When your cat licks you and then bites you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Most owners assume the bite means something has gone wrong. But here's what many people never realize. Those two behaviors are often much more connected than they seem. And if you keep misunderstanding them, which many owners do without even realizing it, you may be pushing your cat away during moments when they're actually trying to feel closer to you. The strange part is that this behavior rarely means what people think it means. Let's decode it. 1. The lick and the bite are often part of the same message. Most people see licking as affection and biting as aggression. From a human perspective, that feels perfectly logical. But cats do not always separate those experiences the way we do. Among bonded cats, grooming sessions often include gentle nips and small bites. Not because something suddenly went wrong, but because both behaviors belong to the same social ritual. Cats use grooming to strengthen bonds, share scent, and reinforce familiarity. This behavior, known as allogrooming, is usually reserved for individuals they trust. That is why many cats lick their owners in the first place. They're not simply cleaning your skin. They're treating you as someone who belongs within their social world. And because gentle bites often appear naturally during those interactions between cats, many owners are surprised when the same pattern appears in their relationship with their pet. To humans, the message feels contradictory. To cats, it often feels completely normal. 2. Your cat may simply be telling you they've had enough. Have you ever noticed that the bite almost always comes after several seconds of licking, petting, or physical contact? That pattern is rarely accidental. Cats are extremely sensitive animals. What begins as a pleasant experience can slowly become overwhelming as more stimulation builds. Behaviorists often refer to this as petting-induced overstimulation. Long before the bite happens, many cats begin sending signals that they are approaching their limit. Their tail may start flicking differently. Their ears may rotate slightly backward. Their muscles may become more tense. Unfortunately, most people never recognize those changes. So the cat eventually resorts to the one signal guaranteed to get attention: the bite. In many cases, the bite itself is not the problem. It is simply the last warning in a conversation that began much earlier. And once owners learn to recognize those earlier signals, many of these bites become less frequent without any punishment at all. If this is already making some of your cat's strange behaviors feel a little less mysterious, hit that like button and subscribe, because the next reason often surprises even experienced cat owners. 3. Your cat may be repeating one of the oldest forms of affection they know. Long before your cat ever met you, they learned what love looked like from their mother. Mother cats spend countless hours licking their kittens. But grooming is not the only thing they do. They also use gentle nips to move their kittens, correct them, and keep them close. For a kitten, those experiences happen together. As a result, both behaviors become linked to feelings of safety and care. That connection often remains throughout adulthood. So when your cat licks you and then gently closes their mouth around your hand, they may not be sending mixed signals at all. They may simply be repeating one of the oldest emotional patterns they have. From their perspective, there is no contradiction between affection and gentle biting. Those two experiences have always belonged together. And that helps explain why many cats appear completely relaxed immediately after biting. Because in their mind, nothing negative has happened. Sometimes your cat is trying to play. Not every bite carries deep emotional meaning. Sometimes the explanation is much simpler. Your cat is having fun. Kittens normally learn bite control through interactions with their littermates. When one kitten bites too hard, play stops. Over time, they learn how much pressure is acceptable. However, cats that were separated from their siblings too early or raised without much opportunity for social play sometimes reach adulthood without fully developing that skill. As a result, their games may become rougher than they intend. The good news is that playful bites usually look very different from aggressive ones. Cats that are playing tend to keep their bodies relaxed and rarely accompany the interaction with hissing, growling, or defensive behavior. In their minds, they are simply inviting you into a game. This is why punishment often creates confusion rather than understanding. A toy usually works far better than a scolding, because the goal is not to stop the game. It's simply to redirect it towards something more appropriate. Before we continue, I'm curious, does your cat usually lick you before biting? Or do the bites seem to happen without warning? Let me know in the comments below, because the final reason is the one most owners never expect. 5. Sometimes the bite is simply the end of the conversation. Humans often assume affection should continue until one side walks away. Cats don't always work that way. Among bonded cats, grooming sessions naturally have a beginning and an end, and sometimes that ending includes a small bite. Not because one cat is angry, not because the relationship has changed, but because the interaction has reached its natural conclusion. In other words, the bite becomes a signal, a way of saying, "I'm finished now." To humans, that message can feel confusing, but to cats, clarity matters. And once you understand that, the behavior begins looking very different, because the bite was never necessarily the opposite of the lick. Sometimes, it was simply the final part of it. And perhaps that's the quiet truth hidden underneath all of this. Many cats that seem unpredictable are not trying to be difficult. They're simply communicating in ways humans were never taught to understand. And once you begin paying attention to the message instead of reacting to the bite itself, you may discover that your cat has been trying to explain themselves all along.